Hello, I'm Shannon Armstrong. I've designed a new tool called the Jewel Tool to make an easy jewel box or Buckeye Beauty quilt that uses half square triangles and 4 patches. It's fast, fun, and fabulous. This is my new tool. It's like a template. I'm going to lay it on top of 2 8.5-inch squares, a background and a print. I'll center my template on top, and I'm going to draw on all the grid lines here. The grid lines that are in red are represented here on my template. Those are the cut lines. The black ones are the stitch lines. Now I'm ready to stitch. I'm going to stitch a 1/4 inch away from this long outside edge and the opposite one. And then I'm going to start sewing here, go up to this point, needle down, pivot, come down, out, sew back on, needle down, pivot, and come out. Now I can press this to set my seams. Then I'm going to be ready to cut this. I want it to look like figure 2. In a perfect world, this should be 2 inches. But I find for accuracy, it's much better to measure from your stitch line over 1 3/4 inches. That gives you a much accurate measurement right here. Use these lines as a guideline and as a visual to help you with the tool. So 1 3/4 over and cut, 1 3/4 over and cut. I'll cut the center one, here and here. Then it's going to look just like this piece. These are my half square triangles. I'll press them to the dark side, and they're a little oversized, so I want you to square them up with whatever favorite square up tool you use, and that's about how much you would have to trim off. Once I've done that, I have 4 perfect half square triangles. This is going to work for my 4 patches. So press this to the dark, and press this one to the dark. Lay it down right sides together, dark to light, light to dark, and butt those seams together so that you'll know they're going to perfectly match. When I've done that, the packet will look like this, all neatly pressed. What I'm going to do now is pin the center, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch away from the outside edge and the opposite outside edge, and then a 1/4 inch away from that center cut line. I can press it now, and then I'm going to cut this in half. Then I'm going to measure 1 3/4. There's my fudge factor, because everybody needs some fudge in their life, and I can give you a fudge factor. So I have a little bit of leeway here so that you can work with it. So 1 3/4 over and cut, 1 3/4 and cut, 1 3/4, 1 3/4. That gives me 4 patches that are perfectly square. Now I'm ready to set my block. There are multitudes of ways of setting that block. You can set them all different ways to make different looks, just by rearranging and rotating the block, the individual block pieces. And here's a little section that you could copy and color to create your own designs. Then I decided I wanted to make a small one. So here's my small template. It uses a 6.5-inch square of a background and a print, and it makes a 4-inch block. Here's my 4-inch block. This pattern is called Birds in the Air. These little squares are 1 inch. But remember, you had to deal with only the long strips here. You didn't have to deal with small pieces. So that's another way of using the tool. And some night, if you need some extra half square triangles, it's very, very easy to just use the center section of the tool right here, as long as your fabric is as wide as that middle section. Put this on a fabric and draw out your grid. Then I can stitch, pivot, come back, pivot, do this, and I've got 10 half square triangles done lickety-split. There's just so much fun things to do with this block, and some of the quilts that we show here, show them right here behind me. And it all started with that blue quilt in the background right over there that was given to me when I was 8 years old by the great aunt in my family, who was the quilter, my great aunt Della. So all of these quilts can be made, and you can even design your own blocks. We use this a lot with group projects so that all of the blocks will be uniform and they'll all fit together. This one was done for the Quilts of Valor group. You can also change this and make a 9-patch. You can let your imagination go wild with this, and I hope you enjoy using it as much as I have enjoyed showing it to you. Thanks so much.